Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the tour of Scotland. We are in Benbecula, and we're going to be flying down to Barra. It's a short flight, so what we're going to do is we're going to circle the north end of the island here before we head down and land, just to add a little bit of sightseeing to the trip, and we'll see what happens. The next couple of legs are actually going to get combined because they are rather short as we hop island to island. So we'll do mid-trip landing and takeoff as we go, but that's for the next few weeks to come. So we'll get ourselves set up. We're going to be departing on runway 06. We have the few clouds preset running because the weather here is typically abysmal for this time of year, and it's currently low cloud and rainy. And again, we want to be able to see things. We're going to fly up to 2,000 feet so we can get some good views. And flying along is Kevin, who's supposed to be in a DC-3, but for some reason the sim has matched him up with that, whatever that is. PA-44 maybe? No, it doesn't look like a PA-44. Not sure. Anyway, let's hop on board and we can get the aircraft set up and ready to go. Alright, we got into the back seat here. Let's move up to the front. And we'll fire up the airplane. Been a few weeks since I've flown it. It's going to be rather interesting. I'm going to do a quick... Oh, it seems to have settled down. Okay, so let's come down here. We're going to turn on the master for the generators, the master for the batteries. You can see the lights are coming on. And the masters for the magnetos. And I am going to have to do this. I forgot that this one had to be done as well. We're going to come over here and set us up for the PA-44. I'll come back and now I can turn on those mags as well. It's rather annoying that I have to do that, but it's fine. DC-3, okay, yeah, I guess it's a twin Cherokee. Alright, so let's get the engines up and going. We'll open up our starter cover. So left engine first, mixture's going to go all the way forward, propeller's going to go all the way forward. We're going to crack the throttle about an inch, should be good. We'll turn our fuel over, that's all good. We're at about third tanks or so. So we're going to switch over to the left side. We'll give it 5 shots on the prime. There we go. We'll put that up to the center. Starter goes to the left side. Beacon light will come on. Didn't want to turn that off. Beacon light is now on. And we are good for engine start. Alright, so there's that first engine up and running. We'll bump the throttle up to get her to 1,000 RPM to help warm up the engine and the oils. There we go. And we can get ready for the right engine start. So mixture coming up full rich. Prop going full forward, throttle up to about 1/4 of an inch. We'll flick the primer over to the right side and give it 5 shots. There we go, and lock it again. Starter over to the right engine, and let's crank her up. There she goes. Close the starter cover cap. And we're going to bring the right engine up to that 1,000 RPM as well. Get both engines nicely warming up. Come up to the overhead. Avionic master is on. And I'm going to put a little bit of light on, just so it's easier to see everything on the panels. We'll turn our transponder onto standby, get that warming up. GPS is warming up. That is all looking good. So this is new with what it's doing here. Locating the GPSs. There we go. They've all come in now. You can see it acquiring the satellites. This is actually what they do in real life. So it's pretty cool. A lot of satellites it's picked up there. And now we got our position. So we're going to input a little flight plan here. So we are currently at Echo Golf Papa Lima. No, it's not an add-on. I think they did an update to the aircraft, and this is default. So Benbecula, we'll hit enter, and we are currently going to be going from or to Echo Golf Papa Romeo, which is Barra. Or Barra. Hit enter, and there's our flight plan set. As you can see, it's only 27 nautical miles. But there's our route there. A little bit of lookout. So as I said, we're going to take off. We'll fly around the northern tip of the island, then we'll fly along the western coast of the island down here, and we'll head all the way down to where we will meet up. And we're going to fly up here around and then down. Alright, so we are set up there. The engines are coming up. Temperatures are starting to come up. Everything is looking good. Tail wheel is unlocked. Cowl flaps are open. I think we're ready to go. Take a quick look over. Looks like Kevin's ready to go as well. So we're going to just do a short taxi over to 06. So the parking brakes are off. We'll kick the tail around. Using the brakes and the precastering tail wheel, which allows the tail to swing rather abruptly. We can come up on the power a little bit on the right engine. There we go. This thing does like to speed up, so we'll just keep on the brakes as we taxi out. See, we're right on the coast here. 2,000 feet should be pretty good. Yeah, it must have been from the last time when we flew in here a couple weeks ago that they've done this update, because it wasn't doing that last time. It was just going straight to the display screen, which they don't do in real life. They have to warm up and they have to acquire the satellites. Alright, so we're going to come to a stop. We get the brakes on. So we want a 059 on our heading bug. That is going to be our runway heading. So we'll set that up here. We want localizer mode since we are not going to be following the GPS. We'll come down here now. We will put our lights to steady. We'll extend our taxi lights. The starter selector will go to neutral. All these switches will stay on. Seatbelt signs will go on. Mags are all on. Just going through the rest of what we have here. Radios we don't need. ADF we don't need. We will turn our transponder on. We're set here. This is all set up. We are in heading mode for our autopilot. Just make sure that we are set to go there, and we are good. Just going to pop up here so I can see. Bring the brakes off. So again, with this aircraft, we're going to do a 0.5 on the trim tab and 0 flaps, and we're only going to go up to about 30 inches, between 25 and 30 inches for the takeoff, and that should keep us under control and give us a nice smooth departure. Get ourselves lined up. There we go. On the brakes. Let's get the brakes set. And where is our trim tab? Is here. So we're going to go to about halfway. Is set. Flaps are completely retracted. Propeller's fully forward, mixture full rich, and we are good to go. Alright, brakes are released. Power coming up. Nice and slow. We've got about 28 inches on the manifold. Tails up. It's just a little bit easier to control this way. There's 70 knots, 80 knots, and we are in the air. It's all positive rate. Gear coming up. As mentioned, we're heading for 2,000 feet. So we're going to keep this heading. So 500 feet, we're going to reduce power slightly. Or we're going to adjust power to 30 inches, and we'll bring the props to about 2100 RPM. Give us a nice climb out. We're going to pitch forward a little bit. We don't want to be too slow. 1,000 feet. So with the sunlight on the props there. Once again, we can see the landscape here. Very watery at this end of the island. There's 1,500 feet. And once we're level at 2,000 and on course, I'll jump outside and we can get all the nice views. Alright, so there's 2,000 feet coming up. We're going to come down here. We're going to turn on the autopilot and we're going to go into altitude hold. That should hold us at 2,000 feet. We're going to go into heading mode. We'll make a slight right turn to get back on runway heading. And we're going to come back to cruise power. So I'm going to bring the engines back to about 25 inches, and the props I'll bring back to about 19, 18. Call it 18. And I'm going to reduce the mixture so our fuel flow comes back to about 19 gallons an hour. There we go. That should be a decent enough power setting Kevin can keep up. And one other thing we're going to do is close the cowl flaps. And there we are. Cruise along. Kevin's in behind us. There he is. It is, let's say DC3. The model matching's off. Alright, how's our airspeed doing? Not too bad. On 30. I'll bring the power up to 26 inches. And we'll go 1900 on the props. There we go. So again, you can see this is really just breaking the surface here. Oh, these would all be salt water pools and everything. So we'll turn to the north. I'm just gonna again circle the island here, just so we can see some of the scenery that we briefly saw as we were coming in. Everything is looking good. And definitely into the fall foliage. Weather today was actually light rain, haze, low cloud. Not a very good visual flying experience, which is why I've gone with the few clouds preset. So there's a little town over here. That's Lochmedy. I'm assuming a little fishing village. But we'll hit all the little towns up on the north end here. So we're going to kind of turn on the northwest heading now to the next one, which is Solas. Let's keep bringing it around. Kevin, let me know in Discord if you're free this weekend. We'll have a chat. I'd like to, if I end up being free and you're available around the same time, maybe do some A310 work, get myself a little bit more familiar with it. But haven't touched it since I did some initial engine run-up stuff with it, so it'll be interesting to see how she flies. So this is the northern coast. You can see the little roads there and the little communities. And on the other side here is pretty much just Atlantic Ocean. All the way to Iceland, Greenland, whatever. Now we had the sim set for an 11 o'clock start, so it's almost 11:30 local time. You know, half an hour, call it 40 minutes to high noon, and you can see how low the sun is here. That is pretty wild. Alright, let's get the lights off and retracted. Forgot I had those on, but oh yeah, you can see how low that sun is. So we're going to get one more of these flights in before I head out of the country again. Next Wednesday we'll be flying out of Barra, and we're going to do 2 stops. We'll be stopping at the midway point, which will be in Tiri Island, and then from Tiri Island we're going to fly to Alba, and so we'll do an intermediate stop, and then we'll stop in Alba. And then there'll probably be just a couple more legs after that. And that will kind of wrap up the series. And the plan starting in the new year, we'll be flying the DC-3s down in England and doing a tour of England. and that will wrap up. I've done Ireland, I've done Wales, we're doing Scotland now, and England's the next one. And if you want to see Ireland and Wales, they are videos, not live streams. Done a while ago, they're on the channel. Here's Solas coming up. It's located over here. There's Kevin back behind us. It says there's a little airstrip here. I don't know if it's an airstrip or a water strip. We'll see when we fly over. And we're going to keep hugging the shore here as we come around the north end of the island. Could be a little strip here. Not a very big one, that's for sure. Not a very big community. Just a few little houses over here. Nice little harbor, though. Looks more like a farmer's field than a landing strip. But if you're in a small airplane, it would do. Alright, we're going to head over to Gary. Perfect place for wind farms out here. Of course, you get the winds coming across the Atlantic, and those westerly winds, and then there's nothing blocking them, so they'll be hitting here with quite a force. I can only assume that these islands are pretty windy. Haven't been, maybe going next year, we'll see. Gary's right down over here on the coast. Yeah, Kevin, I've got it up on another computer. It seems smooth to me, and I also have no Streamlabs warnings about anything with the ingestion. So we might have to add another hamster to the internet wheel. Nice little building down here. So Barra is an interesting place. It's one of the few regular scheduled services into a beach. I know Logan Air flies in there. I'm not sure who else does. It's a good thing we're going in the Logan Air livery. But they fly the, I believe they fly the Twin Otters in there. There's a little community of Tagari. Get my speed going, 135 knots. Good for cruising. Should allow Kevin to catch up, actually. Oh, there he is. He's catching up. In his DC-30 key. going to come around the corner here. And we're going to follow the west coast of the islands down. There'll be a few little outliers like you see in front of us there, but other than that, we should get some good views. There's the sun. Everything is looking really, really good. I'll turn this way, get out of the sun's glare, and we can see the landscape coloring, the rocks, the water, and just the plain ruggedness of this part of Scotland. And you can see the other islands up there, and then nothing out on the horizon but water. Of course, if we look off to the north, we've got Iceland. Over this way, further out, would be Greenland, and then we got North America. 5,000 miles away. So we're going to be using the Airplane Heaven DC-3 for the England tour. So it should be a good one. And Kevin, you'll have to let me know what enhancements you're running. I'm not too up to date on what they've added for it to improve it. But the Beach 18 is pretty good. Once you get a handle on it and you don't overpower it on takeoff and you know how to land it, it's not bad. And it seems to be flying pretty good at the moment. Jump back in, we can do a little check on the instruments. So we got a message on the GPS, probably an airspace message. Set course, yeah. That's typical. It's telling us to get on to intercept our nav course, which is we're not worried about because that's just an indicator that we're using as a guide. It does kind of follow the route we're going to be taking down that west coast. It's again, it's just a guide at the moment. There's where we took off from. It's Benbecula, and there's the airport. See, it's fairly substantial on the island here. We're going to edge over a little bit more southwards to about a 188, 190 heading or so, and we'll just be following the coastline. There's the town. We're going to be heading into the sun. So Barra Airport has an elevation of 5 feet. It has 3 runways at low tide. There's runway 25, 29, and 33. 33 is the longest. It is 2,776 feet. The other one is 2,621 feet, and then the shortest one, 29, which is coming in right out from the water, is 2,231 feet. And it is Very interesting. Of course, you can only go on there at low tide. There's a terminal building. And at high tide, the entire place is underwater. So it's a good thing we're going in at low tide. We're going to be landing on runway 25. We're going on 33. We're going to fly past it, get a good look at it from the air, and then we'll come in, circle around, and land on 33. And we have to avoid everything and look out for birds and watch the winds as well. So we'll fly past it first to get a look at it. But there goes Benbecula. We're just going to continue along the coastline here. So I think if you're an aviation enthusiast, doing this flight and doing the Westray flights up in the north of Scotland, which are the shortest commercial flights, I think it's like 5 minutes gate to gate type of thing. Westray and Papa Westray is probably bucket list stuff to do. Little communities all scattered down along here. This is Lock B, probably a saltwater lock by the looks of it. Type of farming area here. And on the eastern side of the island is where we have our hills and elevation changes. Western side looking pretty flat. So the next live stream is going to be on Monday. We'll be flying out of Barra and heading down into Burma, or what's now called Miramar. So it'll be interesting getting out of there, but once we do, we're heading into a big international airport with a 12,000 foot runway, so quite the difference. Did manage to get in there, didn't stream it, but it flew in from the other end. It's a crazy approach. And even though the RNAV had it as a 3.5 degree down negative slope and everything, it didn't fly it. So I had to do it manually, which was interesting. See how far over the water the other inner islands are. You got like Skye and Mull and stuff over there, and then beyond that is the mainland Scotland. Lots of wind turbines. So we're going to be leaving this island. We're going to do a little bit of a water crossing to the next island there. And that is where we will find Barra on the north end. Not sure the name of the island. Castle Bay, I believe. Or is that the town? Either way, it's just in up here at the north end there. So it's going to be an interesting approach. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves prepped for it. We're going to descend down to 1,000 feet now. So we're going to go into pitch mode, and I'm going to start us down. Looks like they fixed the direction on that. That's nice. Take it down at about 500 feet per minute. I'm going to pull the power back to 2,000 or 20 inches, just so we don't accelerate like a rocket as we go down. So we do have some mountains coming up, so we're not going to be able to circle to the south and come in. But what we are going to do is we're going to come over, cross over the field, heading out along the edge, and then we'll turn around and then come back in along that edge to give us our 3-3 landing. Actual runway heading is 323. Alright, so we're coming up 1,000 feet. So we're going to ease off on our descent rate. Power back up to 25 inches. Easing off, slowing that rate down, and at 1,000 feet, we're going to altitude hold again. Hey, Willie, how you doing, sir? How's everything? I see you're getting some good streams in around the world. Very nice. So the airport that we're heading to is right on the other side there. It's on the beach right there. So we're going to come in, we'll fly over, and then we'll head out along the water, turn around and come back in for that landing. So yeah, Willie, hope everything is good with you. Yeah. Well, I have been traveling. I was down in Vegas for a week. And I'm heading out again. Next week I head back over to England to deal with some family stuff. So yeah, streams are a little spotty at the moment, but we're around. I may be up your way again next year, actually. I'll let you know. So we got the sun going here, but there's the airport. Coming up. Just past this hump here, you can see the wide beach. That's where we're landing. And the terminal building is right over here. So we're going to fly out around here, and then we'll circle around and then come back in and get ourselves lined up. Yeah, maybe next late spring, early summer, I'll be over again. Actually, in your area up in Edinburgh. So here's where we're headed. So we're going to turn ourselves onto the reciprocal of 3.3, which is 15. Get a nice look down. So our landing is going to be up along, coming over here, down, touching down, and then rolling up towards the terminal here. Oh, that'd be cool. Good Angus burgers. Okay, so we're coming in for our landing. So landing lights are going on. Propeller's fully forward. Mixture is going to full rich. And we're on a good track here, coming back in this way as well. So we'll watch for that. See as we head over the islands here. There's Kevin. I'm not sure what runway Kevin's going to be using. Probably the same one. So we want to come up along the coastline here, nice and low. I don't know if I can't remember if you had a new one or not. It was in July, so if you remember whether or not you did back then. I know you cooked up some good food though. And we'll come in just over here and then touch down and land and roll up. It's going to require some getting her down as slow as possible, get that tail down and get on the brakes. Alright, so let's swing out a little bit this way. We'll do a little bit of an arc. You'll use the one with the sand on it? Yeah, I think they're all kind of like that. Alright, so let's get ourselves turned around. We'll start a nice left turn. And we want to set this to roughly 323, which is about there. Start bringing the power back, start slowing us up. And the airport is in sight. Alright, power coming back. Autopilot is disengaged. First notch of flaps, gear down. Going to be coming in full flaps and landing at about 70 knots. Second notch of flaps. Probably be dragging it in for the last little bit. full flaps. Bring it down to 80 for our approach speed. So gear down, full flaps, lights are on. Depends when you're doing it, Willie. Send me something in Discord, let me know. I'm heading out for the big chunk in the middle of December. I won't be here, but we can always see. So there's 80 knots. So I'll pull the power. I want to be about 70 as I land. Looking good. There's 70 knots coming up. 75. Let's pass the hill. Get her down. We're down. Alright, get the tail planted. Flaps all the way up. Get the lift off the wings. On the brakes. Head over to the terminal. There's Kevin coming in. All right, welcome to Barra, everybody. Let's get the coolers open, tail wheel unlocked. Which actually is locked before takeoff, so that's okay. That was pretty interesting. First time landing at Barra. You just got to be out of here before high tide. As this is actually where the high tide mark. You can kind of see where the sand ends. Yep, and Willie, if you notice, flew in on Logan Air. How about that? Alright, parking brake is set. Flaps are fully up, props fully forward, mixer fully forward. Gonna bring the engines up to, there's Kevin in his, what should be a DC3. Engines up to 1,000 RPM. You do that on round engines to suck the oil out of the sumps and then and the bottom cylinders, and also make sure that everything is nicely lubricated. Also helps for cooling the engine cylinders as they get a little bit of heat there to help prevent thermal shocking, which is an issue. So we'll let that run for a second. We can turn off our transponder. The radios are good. We don't need any of that. We can put our lights to flashing. Landing lights can come off. And yeah. Oh, nice. Should be interesting. An interesting landing. Hopefully you get good weather that day. Alright, that's long enough. Temperatures are all looking good and in the green. So engine 1 mixture is cut. Throttle and props fully back. And engine 2 mixers off, throttle and props fully back. Come up here, avionics and lights can come off. Turn off the signs, mags are off, battery switches are off, turn off the lights. And there we are. Well, everybody, we have made it to Barra. And I wish you were showing as a DC3, Kevin. But we're here in Logitech colors as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So thanks for coming along on the flight, Willie. Thanks for dropping in. Good to see you. We'll chat soon. And, hey, Clemo! He joined us right at the end. This was a little bit shorter. I'm still getting a bunch of stuff ready for when I leave next week, so I got to go out and do a couple things. Next week will be the last stream before I leave. On Wednesday, we'll be doing a 2-stop flight down that one. We'll leave here, head to Tiri Island, and then from there we head to Isla, and we do that. And on Monday, we are leaving out of Paro. That's the next live stream, and flying down to Miramar. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. We will see you all on the next one. Bye for now.